Well, thank you for having me. I think I was very attracted to the computer technology when it first came out. Before that, we had camcorders and cameras, but now we have digital cameras. And here we are now with the third generation of the tablet computer. We have the iPad 3, and we have the Samsungs, and we have Lenovo. We have so many tablets, 90 million worldwide. And everyone is starting to look at them as an educational tool. And I had that interest a long time ago. But I'd like to point out that the skill levels are not only for the young children, but also for the university students here at Bangkok University. So I'm going to have to use a few terms here. There's two levels I have to discuss. First, the children's level and the university level. Let's have a look at the tablet for the first grader. And here's a situation where the first grader is looking at a little game. They've never seen it before, and they see a little shape. And what they have to do is they have to put their finger down and over to make an L, and music will go off, and a picture will come up, and it's a clock, and the hands of the clock make the time. The student is learning, the first grader is learning how to move their finger on the tablet to make a shape, so they see that if they do something, something is going to happen. So they're learning right away. So there's not much different if you take a piece of paper, and you make a W. This is another tool. The tool, the pencil and the paper, they see W and they see O. But when they go to the tablet, they're touching. So it's a little bit different. They touch, they go down, and then they go across. Okay? And I didn't finish. And it makes a pizza, 4 pieces of a pizza. So you can do this with letters too. Okay? So this is an example of a skill that the student is learning how to make something happen with their hand on the face of the tablet computer. That's a new thing for the student. It's a brand new skill. We're going to call that a skill. Okay? And it's also a skill, a literary skill. This is a literary skill. It's a literary skill to make a letter. And it's a digital literary skill to make a shape because we're using a digital tool. So we have to learn all these little skills that give you something from the tablet computer. So how does this help a university student? Well, there are other complicated programs for the university student. For example, if we go to a program that's called Goodreader, Goodreader has a lot of files. You can see many different files. And again, if I use my finger, okay, I'm using my finger, I can move the files up and down. I can move the files up and down. I learned how to do this when I was a baby, but now I'm doing it as a university student. And I know that if I touch one of them, something else is going to happen. These are skills for getting some information out of the computer. But what's happening, because that skill isn't being taught, what has happened is that only the game is being played. So the student plays the game, and they say, well, we don't want our student to play games, we want them to learn, okay? Well, one of the problems with that is no one knows how to learn using the tablet, but everyone knows how to play games, okay? So this is only an educational situation where the teacher, now we have the teachers have to be shown how the tablet can be used to learn and also play games. Games are okay. So there's a difference between the youngster learning how to put his hand on the tablet and a college student learning how to put his hand on the tablet, her hand on the tablet, and find something in a library or find a picture or something like that. The question is, how do I go about teaching the youngsters, and how do I go about teaching the university students? I knew I usually, as you can see, the youngsters don't know exactly how to they know how to play the game, but they don't know how to learn. And this is up to the teacher again. So you have to make a little folder on the screen, and you have to show the teacher, you have to show the student how to touch the screen, and they go and you teach them how to touch the screen. And then when they touch the screen, you show them how to move their finger back and forth on the screen. So then the student sees that. So they'll play with that for a long time. So then after you show them how to do that, you tell them to click on one of the pictures, and the picture will make a sound. So all of a sudden the little kid is seeing, oh, if I touch this, I get astronaut. If I touch this, I get observatory. If I touch this, I get rocket. And then he says rocket. So the tablet is teaching the student back and forth. The student is learning. He doesn't know what it is, but if he touches it, airplane, and he sees airplane. So that's an example of how a student begins to learn in the very early years that the tablet is giving something back to the student. And when you get up into the more advanced level, when you get up into the university level, well, then you're looking for something entirely different. You're looking for reading, which is a lot of words. They learn how to do a lot of words. And the other thing you're learning, they're learning Google. They're learning how to search. So they're learning how to put a word in here. So they learn that rocket ship, and they can put rocket ship in here, and they can learn to type rocket ship. They learn their letters. But what's coming out of the tablet then is information about rockets from every computer in the world. But you don't do that with the first-year-old and the second-year-old, the second grader and the third grader. Maybe you start at the fifth grade. So Thailand has the opportunity now to get very, very fast learners. They teach them how to get the information at a very young age, teach them that way. By the time they're in the fifth grade, they will be as proficient as many of the students are in the universities. And by the time they reach the fifth grade, there may be a hologram or a three-dimensional image on the top of this. So then you'd only have to touch the air. And you wouldn't even need this. You'd just speak to it. You'd say rocket ship, and there would be a rocket ship in front of you. That's coming. That's the future. And the future is growing very, very quickly. So by having all of these first graders have a tablet computer now, that technology is not going to stay like that forever. It may be 1 year at the most. So the content has to change too. So that's a big job for the Ministry of Education. It's going to be a big job for the teachers at Bangkok University. The same job as selecting a textbook for a course is going to be the same job as selecting an application for the curriculum. And this hasn't happened yet. Everyone is still selecting the book, but no one is selecting the app. The app is a book, and the book is a book. And there are two different types of media to learn from. The question is, will there be any need for a teacher if the student can find anything they want on the tablet or anything else in the computer? I think it's a great question because the teachers are worried that they won't have a job, and the book publishers are worried that they won't have any more people buying their books. So what's the answer to a question like that? And if you're a teacher, do you just stop your learning? No, you don't. You keep on learning. And there is a new name for a teacher. They call a teacher today a coach, or they call a teacher a guide, or they call a teacher a facilitator, or they call a teacher a collaborator. What does that mean? That means it's okay that the student is learning on their own. And in learning theory, learning theory may sound very boring, but Piaget talked about child development and what is going on with this one when we are learning. And it's okay to learn independently. What I like is I like to see my students doing something independent. The teacher is always going to be important because the teacher is also learning. It's not that the teacher is going backwards. The teacher has to go forward too. So the teacher is learning skills at the same time the student is learning skills. So when I go in the classroom, rather than myself standing in front of the classroom and telling everyone what to do, what I do is I go into the classroom and I say, I want you all to find this. And then they can find anything they want. And I will go around and say, oh, that looks like a good animal that you found, if they want to find animals. Let the student find things, but let them find things that you told them to find. There's a big difference in telling a student, this is a lion, versus go out and look for a lion. It's important to let the student find things on the computer and then let the student tell you what they found. And you can't find everything, and the students are much quicker at finding things than the teacher. But soon, these students today that are learning very, very quickly, someday they're going to be teachers. So they're going to be having students, and they're both going to be moving very fast. So there's going to be, right now it's not that way. Right now we have a slow teacher and a fast student. Next year, not so slow teacher, fast student. Next year, fast teacher, fast student. Next year, working together. Still have the teacher, still have the student, but working together a lot differently. So there's no worry about losing the teacher. What we have to do is help the teacher not catch up, but use, add to the book, add to the picture, add to the music, add to putting things together. And then it'll be all right. I have no worry about that. Okay, the question is, the knowledge that the student is getting from the tablet computer, is it going to be effective for their critical skills? Are they going to learn faster? Are they going to learn at all? Is it an effective learning tool? And this is it's the question that every educator in the world is asking. It's the most popular question. And the reason it's so popular is because it looks like we're going to be using these tools, and everyone wants to be sure that we use them effectively. So I would say, of the studies that have been done, there has been shown an increase, a faster learning curve to learn something with the tablet computer versus the paper-based teaching method. Because the tablet is reinforcing the student all the time. They don't have to wait for an answer. If they want to know something, they can see it right away and they can make a comparison. What has to be done for the student to learn effectively is the first or second question that you discussed, was the literary skills, the digital literary skills. How effective can they link to another website? How effectively can they make a decision on which is right and which is wrong? How effectively can they compare one person's point of view with another person's point of view when you have 10 points of view instantly coming onto the screen? So if you were to ask the question, do you think if I knew everything that everyone is saying in the world, I would be a smarter person? Chances are I might be a little smarter, yeah. But I can't be everybody in the world, can I? But I can look at what everyone is saying. Okay, so you have to apply the knowledge and use it directly. And this is what's important for Thailand. What are the things that would best serve Thailand to have super learners? Okay? Would it be a super vegetable that everyone in the world would want to eat? Would it be a super three-dimensional movie that everyone would want to watch? So I think Thailand is looking at its economic survival. Does it want to be a software developer? Does it want to be an auto manufacturing parts developer? Does it want to build robots? And if it does want to build robots, we need the students of Thailand. They call that human capital, human resources. Well, let's use the children from Thailand to build the robots, not the children from Singapore, not the children from the Philippines. They're going to come. So we have to decide how we want to instill the knowledge in the students. So the testing is out on that, but I think it's positive, and there are programs that you can put into the tablet computer. They're called evaluation programs. We want to evaluate the students, and I'm on a research committee at Bangkok University helping make a test to determine if the students are learning their English. So Bangkok University will give a certification for English. Did they learn their English skills well? So Bangkok University is working on how best to assess quality assessment. How do we assess our students? How are they learning? It's a big question, and once the tablet gets into the curriculum committee, which it isn't, then these kinds of questions become very, very important. So it's a big administrative problem for teacher, for student, for curriculum, for subjects. Are we going to use the subjects in the book? Are we going to use the subject in the computer? And we should think about that very seriously, because the tablet is still here. This is a NASA website where a student can learn all the planets instantly and can see them in 3D. So maybe they want to be an astronaut. We do not know what the potential, the ultimate potential is of increased learning. We don't know what students will become like. One of the things that is needed is to have them excited, have the students excited about that maybe they can find anything they want. They can find out anything. And when I think that gets to be an exciting question for the student, I think there will be a change in the attitude about using computers. Well, can a student be a better student with a tablet computer? Someone has to educate. We have to educate as an educator and as a researcher. I have to find out myself what it is that makes a better student. You know, what is excellence in learning? When I find that out, then I'll share that. First I share it in my research papers, and then I share it with people at conferences. I talk at conferences and that type of thing. But that's not getting into the classroom. So that's why the classroom is so important, because one teacher can affect thousands of students. Many thousands of students can be affected if the idea that you have, you can use it on the tablet computer to learn from. So a big responsibility is for the teacher to understand that learning is changing, and to ask oneself, well, how would I know if I was a better learner? I do ask myself this question. How would we know we're learning any better than we were last year or 2 years ago? If everything's changing, am I changing? So I think once these questions are really looked at very closely, then we can help change. Change becomes a part of the learning experience. And I think there is a big change in learning. I mean, we feel, students feel more comfortable in switching over to biology, or go look at a movie, or let's look at the ocean, or let's look at the stars. Lots of different things are being looked at the same time. All that needs to happen with all of this access is showing what happens when you put 2 and 2 equals 4. Oceans and stars is maybe aquatic astronomy, like they have nanotechnology. We mix our terms to define our science and our research. So we have nanotechnology, we have biotech, we have genetic engineering. We're combining this one, and we're putting them together. We call it hybrid cars, electricity, gasoline, 2 different things coming together. That's what learning is. It's taking unrelated elements, putting them together, and see if they work. When we get all the students doing that, learning changes a great deal. Well, the question is, how would I make a comment to the Thai government, the Ministry of Education, and the directors of Bangkok University, as well as the teachers and also the students, in relationship to introducing the effects of introducing a tablet computer or digital assistants, maybe we could call them digital assistants, into the educational system. And let's have a look. I think Thailand is one of the few countries that has decided, the government has decided, Yingluck Shinawat has decided, her government, Pheu Thai Party, to make available 1 tablet per child throughout all of Thailand. And I think it's a very important, revolutionary kind of a decision to make, because a young child is going to be learning a new tool the same way they learn how to use a pencil and a piece of paper. And the thing that has to be understood, that it's going to grow. It's just not going to stop at the 1st grade. Next year they're going to be in the 2nd grade. My concerns are in that is that there is attention being paid to what the student is going to be like in the 2nd grade. And also the teacher. The teacher's very concerned how I'm going to teach my student with this tablet computer that I don't know anything about. That's going to be the same for this teacher in the 2nd grade, in the 3rd grade. At Bangkok University, it's for all the teachers here. It's a whole new learning initiative that has to take place to really bring the tablet successfully into a learning environment. So what we're really talking about is a tablet computer as a learning tool, a lifelong learning tool from 1 year, from the 1st grade, all the rest of your life. But during the time you're in the 1st grade and maybe through college, you're going to be 5 years old to maybe 20 years old. Okay, so that's like 15 years of education that is going to be assisted by computer-mediated communication, computer-mediated technology is already with us. But the tablet is a mobile device. They can learn anywhere, anytime, on their own. They still can communicate with the teacher, and the technology is changing, making it possible to even have more available things that are even available now. So the question whether they should be introduced, the more important question is, now that we're introducing them, how do we use them? And to understand what they are, they come in all shapes and sizes. Some work slow, some work fast, but what is it that they're doing? And I think everyone has to take seriously what it is they're doing. Are they aiding? You asked me the questions. Are they helping learning? Are they getting smarter? Are they going to be able to criticize things more easily? Are they going to be able to synthesize things more easily? Are they going to be smarter? All of those are very, very important questions. If we took a positive approach and looked at the engineering excellence of the technology that's already here, I would say yes. The answer is yes. The difference between yes and the tablet computer is the willingness to learn how to use it. And that's the biggest problem, is why do I want to take the time to learn how to use it? Why do I have to learn another piece of technology? Well, it's not so much another piece of technology as it is a whole new digital interface of the human with a device that gives knowledge back. How to use that knowledge is really digital literacy. You know, how do I go and find a dog more quickly? If I do find the dog, what else can I learn about canines? You know, what are the pedigree differences? There's so many different learning levels that can take place more quickly through the access independently, can do it independently, or it can be assisted by the teacher as well. But I think the teacher has to learn how to use them. The student right away now should be taught the most effective way to get the information. This is information science. We have at Bangkok University a Knowledge Institute. Dr. Raberi is the head of that. That's very important to know how to manage your knowledge. And information science is knowing how to get the information, what to do with the information. And these have to be taught at the same time the subjects are being taught, but they have to be integrated. So the information science and chemistry are integrated. Yes, teach geology. Yes, teach chemistry. Yes, teach engineering, but also teach the information science with chemistry so that you know all the different aspects of any one subject at the same time. So this is what the digital tools are begging the teacher to do. The software designers are not going to stop. So the other issue is it's really important for the teacher to know how to communicate with the software designer. It's a big issue. Otherwise, a teacher has no say in any of the apps that are on the tablet computer. So really, we have the parent also should be interested. So it's the parents, the students, the teachers, the developers, and the administrators should form a collective, as it were. You can call it the Thai Consortium of knowledge acquisition or gaining knowledge. The whole country comes together to realize that they have a new opportunity to learn in a different way. It sounds ambitious, it may sound, impossible, but it's here. I mean, when you have the computer in your pocket and you're carrying it around in your purse, it's a short distance between how to use these in an effective way and just carrying them for having chatting or playing a game. There's a lot more potential with the tools, and taken seriously, I think it can make a big difference in the educational level of all students in Thailand. I just came from a small school in Sisaket, and the tablet computers were piled on the desk. They were about this high. All the students are sitting in a circle. They're very quiet. And they said, okay, now come up and get your tablet computer. Whoop! Everyone stands up. They get their earphones. They get their tablet computers. And they're doing their work. And no one is telling them they're doing their work automatically. Very excited about this new way of getting stimulated So I think looking at it constructively and do not worry about people learning independently can add a great change to the excitement in a classroom. And I think everyone should be aware of that.